Hey La, welcome to Coffee with Avila. I'm Aviana Lemaire, and on this channel we discuss neurodivergence, greater living. And today I want to talk about just a quick note, I think, on burnout. It's the kind of thing that has different meanings for different people, and it's used inside of and outside of the autistic and or ADHD community. And I'm going to tell you right now, I'm just going to cut to it. What I have noticed is that it's kind of a simple event, and it's not necessarily something you're supposed to recognize in building of modern society, because if you recognize what does it, there's a certain amount of knowledge, awakening, awareness that could break down what led to it. But the truth is, I'm going to tell you my experience, and it's also just what I've noticed in general. Being burnt out, it's really not something you're just susceptible to because there's something wrong with you or something wrong in your life in that moment. It's not, it does have to do with something being wrong in your life, but it's not like it's just this moment where something goes terribly wrong, and if you were well, you could deal with it. It's really just about the fact that as human beings, we have a certain amount of energy with which to live. And once that's expended, we are just not able to do so anymore. Whether it is temporarily or permanently, once that energy is gone, and it's not replenished, you can't work anymore, you can't move. It's why we eat. To replenish energy, it's why we sleep. To replenish energy, it's why we drink. It's why we do activities that make us feel our energy rise in hopes that we can somehow continue fighting for that balance against the activities that make your energy lower. It's literally just about not having enough left. And what I have noticed is that it is because you're doing something, and as autists, and in my particular experience, autistic, ADHD, or if there's anything that we know, we can just keep going and going and going and expending energy on so many things until eventually it's just all gone. And then absolutely everything that comes and takes more energy breaks us down. It breaks us off from everything that we love or we want or we need. It breaks us out of any place where we could find sanctuary. It's simply an issue of putting too much of it out and not having enough of it coming back in. And you could have energy coming back in, but sometimes what you're putting out is whatever you have. The expenditure is just much. It's great. And what's coming back sometimes is just really not feeding you. It might be a lot of sensory overwhelm. It might be a lot of people who just don't care. For whatever reason, I addressed this in my previous video, some people just aren't capable of giving, balancing, being healthy. They can't process what they're doing. Even sometimes they try, and because they're just in a horrible, bad, terrible, unhealed state themselves, they can't give back. Sometimes people just take because that's what they want to do, and they believe it's their mission here to just get everything they can. There could be a million reasons for it. They could be healthy enough to try but just not care. They could be so unhealthy that they can't try, but sometimes people have a lot to do with it because generally, whether we like it or not, they're there. And even if you might want some people there, it seems like there's always another energy expenditure to deal with because you're interacting. Or I've had a lot of situations in life where things that I do and don't like parties, social gatherings, and all this stuff, it's greatly me disliking it because they've just been bad situations. They weren't my people. I didn't have a choice. So if you end up in a situation where you have to go to something because you're put upon by family, or you're put upon by employment, or you're put upon by the neighbors, peer pressure type thing, you have to do something in order to fit in or be accepted. Or I've got lights over here. I forgot to turn my TV off. I'm going to turn my TV off so it doesn't do that again. Sometimes you just end up expending all this energy. And I have had a lot of situations, and I've just had one recently where maybe I want to be there doing something, interacting with someone, but I also know it's just going to kill me to do it. So I'm thinking about it a lot because it's something I just have dealt with so much in my life, and it's always been because I just don't have any more to give. I've given everything already. It's not been because something was wrong with me, and it wasn't because I didn't have anything to give, and it wasn't because I didn't want to give. It's just that I only have so much energy with which to be alive, and my whole life was built in a place where I've had a whole lot of time to process this. Sometimes everyone and everything just requires more than you have, and they're never happy until it's all gone and you're in a lump and you can't move. So then you end up with this kind of traditional image of curled up in the bed and not able to move, stuck in a seat, unable to move. You can't get up, you can't eat, you can't drink. You can't do things like taking medications or whatever types of medicines might be in your life from whatever kinds of traditions and places, the good things, the healthy things, the healing things. Sometimes you just can't do it because it took all of your energy from doing it. It's just always going to come back to that. Different people have different levels of sensitivity to different things. And some of us are not told or allowed to process that we have a different level and a different sensitivity, and what someone else might be getting fed by might be just draining us, or maybe we're getting fed in one way and drained in another. So there's a duality of energy coming in and energy going out. It's different for us. It's different for me. I have different needs. And I think it's just incredibly obvious for some of us when we're stuck in a slump. We're stuck in a hole, we can't get out of it. And it's really harsh once you get in that hole because it feels like you'll never get back out. Sometimes you have all these thoughts about how you'll never get back out, how it's a pattern, you'll always be back in the hole, but that just makes it worse and takes more energy away. You can't heal as well when the effects of the harm are causing you more thoughts and feelings of more harm. But once you just end up in that hole and you can't move, I've noticed that it's very easy to feel like, well, that's it, then I failed. I couldn't do it all. I couldn't be everywhere. I couldn't be everything for everyone. And the truth is, sometimes that is what's happening. You could not do it all, and you couldn't be everything for everyone in every situation. And the reason why you can't is because you are not meant to be, and you are not supposed to be, and it's not supposed to be the perfect iteration of a loving planet with loving people is not to take one person and drain them like they're just some type of water balloon and you've got a bunch of water leeches stuck to it waiting to suck it dry. The person's not supposed to just be a font to feed everyone and everything, especially if those things are not good for you. Because sometimes you're trying to feed for people you love, you're trying to keep them going, you're trying to buffer them from something, but sometimes it's just that you end up stuck in a bunch of situations with people who aren't safe or aren't loving, and they're leeching off of you anyway. And the reason why you feel like you just can't do enough and be enough is because what they're requiring is superhuman and impossible. Sometimes life is requiring superhuman and impossible things, and the bodies we're in just don't work that way. We're not endless energy fonts. We don't just produce our own fuel out of nowhere while a bunch of leeches are on sucking it away. And when we are able to produce some, when the leeches are still there, they're draining it faster than we can make it. We end up still stuck in a hole. It's just not as simple as, oh no, something is wrong with me and I couldn't do today. Anyone can get drained out like that. People who are not neurodivergent use the term burnout, and all it means for them, because no one has told them that they're a walking disease, all it means for them is I'm going through too much and I'm expending too much energy. I need to somehow find a way to fight for the balance. I need to recognize the inherent nature of duality where energy goes out and energy comes back in, but you can't do nothing but having infinite energy coming in, and you can't do nothing but having infinite energy going out, because neither of those are healthy. It's about the duality of both things. So when things like that are not working, when that natural duality of just being alive, just having a spirit, just being worth something, it's just not recognized and it's just not allowed, then you end up in this constant, infinite, endless humanoid battle, fighting for this imaginary balance that you're supposed to be able to somehow create with the perfect mindset and the perfect energy. But balance is just a constant man-made struggle, and it happens when somebody ignores the natural duality of life and things just swing too far in one direction or in the other. We see this all the time. You might have somebody who's so busy trying to have fun, whatever in their minds is supposed to be fun, that they're not able to do what's necessary for their survival, for their well-being, for building a life. You have some people who are so busy trying to build a life that they're not able to do anything that is fun and healing. You have some people who, I grew up with this all the time. I've seen in my personal experience with the religious thing, there are some people who are the concept of light and darkness. I have different views on it than other people do, for what I think are very obvious reasons, but it's always this light and dark, light and dark, light and dark. Everyone is often inside of particular religions, and mine, the background of Christianity, obsessed with the concept of light versus dark, light versus dark. It's like we don't live in a world where you have both. It's like day and night don't exist. They decide one is evil and one is positive. And you see how some people truly do. I've seen people descend into the concept of darkness where they have no recognition of the duality and they don't recognize light. And there are people I love right now who are in serious harm because all they do is descend into darkness. And I also have people I love right now in serious harm because they didn't recognize the concept of day and night and the concept of up and down, and they tried to ascend into light in an unbalanced way, and they became unhealthy because any amount of denying the truth, it doesn't matter what you do. If you just fling yourself wildly in one direction or the other and you try to ignore the other one and forsake it because you don't believe in it, you're going to end up out of what people like to call balance. And it's unhealthy and it's upsetting, and you get people who are obsessed with the theory of infinite light, which is unsustainable. So then it starts to show, and they start to look at and they start to talk that way. It's everywhere. It's in every single aspect of human life, animal life. It's the planet. There's an ebb and flow, but it's all about, I don't want to get into that and make that video right now, although I'd like to make that video. I don't know that I'm prepared in this moment to do it, the duality versus balance thing, but it just plays in here because it plays into everything, because it's greatly the building blocks for how to maintain life in any nature. And when we end up burnt out, it's very much because we just ended up without a healthy duality naturally occurring in our lives. We've been slung hard into the side where it's just energy going out and not enough energy, or not the right energy, or no rewards coming in. Sometimes it's that too. Sometimes it's just fighting and battling and fighting and battling and fighting and battling and not getting any rewards. Getting extremely paltry rewards. Sometimes you can get a reward that after what you did is just so humiliating that it breaks you more. Not really a reward, but everyone else wants you to act like it is. They want you to think that it is. They want you to accept it. It's literally just that too much is going out. And I don't have a mindset right now to be thinking about how to fix it or offering any suggestions on that. It's just that this is weighing on my mind. The suggestions on that are kind of what I just said. There's a duality to everything. And if there's too much energy going out, the way that you fix that is by stopping that incredible unnatural tilt toward losing everything. You've got to find some way to get something back. And that's the best I can say right now, because I'm in a moment where my energy is drained. And maybe I'll talk about that later in another video. But it's just so incredibly glaringly obvious to me, and it's overwhelming because in my personal experience, I don't just walk around sick and unable to deal with life because I'm autistic and I'm ADHD and my brain just doesn't do things correctly, and oh, wouldn't it be nice to medicate it away and all this other different stuff. The truth for me has always been, I've always been okay, except when someone or something else gets involved. And when it just won't stop getting involved, and when I just can't escape, and when you try to sleep and stuff is waking you up. I woke up today and went straight into a meltdown because I was so depleted and overwhelmed and in so much sensory torment and hell before I went to sleep that I couldn't have a meltdown, because meltdowns take energy and my body had nothing left. I just laid down and I didn't know if I was going to fall asleep, but I knew I wasn't able to move. So I just got stuck underneath my weighted blanket because I literally didn't have the energy to have a meltdown. So after I had slept all night and awoken, I decided to get up. Let's go get some hydration, start self-care, get my morning together so I can put some fuel into myself and heal. And I wasn't able to finish even getting the fuel together before I started falling asleep because I was too tired to think things through and process what was upsetting and all that stuff before I went to sleep. It's kind of like I just wrote a check and didn't fill out the amount. Before I went to sleep, I just wrote the check of what was about to happen and what was about to get paid, more of my energy. But I didn't even have time to fill out the amount because I was too exhausted to even move my hand and write it. So this emotional, energetic check is written, but it's a blank check. And we don't want that floating around in the atmosphere. So then I awoke and I started processing. I started having the reckoning. And before I knew it, the amount just started to kind of fill itself out in dark, disgusting red ink. And the next thing you know, I'm just falling apart before I could even start consuming breakfast. So I'm probably going to see if I can possibly start uploading, editing and uploading this, who's to say, and then try to go to sleep. I just felt the energy to start talking about this because I just have something to say on this subject. It's really not just that something is wrong with you. And even if you're 100% convinced in your own life, you're aware, you're neurodivergent, or if you're not neurodivergent, whatever is going on, you just think there's something wrong with you. My viewpoint is what's generally happening is there's something wrong with what's going on with you or around you. And for me, it's just been, there's something wrong with what's going on around. It's something that's pulling way too much, and it's just not giving anything of pure value and nourishment back. And like I said, sometimes there's some kind of, when I'm expending energy, I'm going and I'm doing something, sometimes there's some energy going back, but sometimes there's just so much more taken out of me. I end up in a heap, and I don't know if I have spent, like, I've been through a lot in life and I don't necessarily remember everything I went through. The memories come back, I'm healing, it's a whole process, but I don't really know that I've ever just awoken and gone straight into a meltdown before. But it wasn't straight, it took a few minutes because there was thinking. I didn't get to complete it before I went to sleep. So the whole pattern of processing everything that drained me, it just, like I said, the check was there and it was a blank check, but it was going to get filled out and it was going to fill itself out after I awoke. So that's what's on my mind right now, and I'm going to go see about trying to do something to protect my life and my energy in an environment where I don't even know how to finish that statement, but we'll see. So once again, I have my little outro that I have no idea how to put up, but it should be in a pinned comment underneath the channel. It just basically says that if there's anything in the community, especially like the autistic, ADHD community, you're not seeing it addressed, you want to take on it, you want a different take on it, particularly you want a mystic's take on it, or you just want someone else's viewpoint. Because for me, sometimes I just need to hear more than 1 to 3 people talking about something so I can, you know, learn and get some different perspectives. Anything like that. You have any ideas, put them in the comments, and if I can address them, I might make them into a video. If you have any thoughts, if you've had any similar experiences, if you're dealing with burnout, or if you found a way to come out of it, leave it in the comments. That would be interesting as heck. Sometimes we all know how to get in, but there's so many infinite ways to get back out because it's so personal. Any amount of suggestions could probably be helpful to someone. But long story short, remember to like, subscribe, ring the notification bell for updates, for notifications, for whatever. Share the video if you got any use and you think anyone else. And I don't know, bless us all, we all need it. That's about it. Bye now.